Hey guys, Brandon here, and in this video, we're going to talk about how to find and buy your first rental property in 2022. So let's get started. Now, if you've done even just a little bit of research on the real estate market in 2022, then you've discovered that everything seems to be selling for crazy high prices, and things seem to be selling in record time. And this is true all across the country. And this may have led you to ask yourself as a newer real estate investor, are there still real estate investment deals to be found? And the answer is yes. And in this video, I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can uncover good deals as a real estate investor and identify and buy your first rental property. The first way to uncover these deals is by finding foreclosures. Now, a foreclosure is a property that has been taken back by the lender because the property owner has defaulted on their loan. Now, foreclosures normally sell at a price less than what they're worth for several reasons. One, the bank is motivated to offload the property. Oftentimes, these properties have had some damage done to them, right? So there's an opportunity for them to be repaired and be worth more, but because they're damaged, they're being sold for less than what they would normally be sold for. So foreclosures can present a great opportunity for you as a real estate investor to find the deal that you're looking for. Here's where you find foreclosure opportunities. The first place to look is online real estate auction sites. And there's a number of them out there. The site that I've actually bought a number of properties from over the last 6 years is auction.com. But there's others like Hubzu and Williams, but personally, I've always liked auction.com. Now, a few things to note about these auction sites is that one, anyone can enter the auction. You don't need to be a seasoned real estate investor. You don't need to have a real estate license. Anyone can enter the auction. However, these real estate sites often require you to pay a fee to enter the auction. And in my experience, that fee is usually around $2,500. So you have to pay that fee just to get access to the auction. Now, if you don't end up winning the auction, you don't get charged that fee. You get that returned to you. But in the event that you do win the auction, that fee then comes off of your total costs. It's also important to note that if you win the auction and then you don't end up closing the transaction, you do forfeit that fee. So you want to make sure that when you enter the auction that this is a property that you're serious about and you have the means to close the transaction should you be the winning bid, should you be the top bidder. Now, something else that's worth noting about these online auction sites is they usually don't allow you to acquire the property with a loan, meaning that they usually demand that you have cash to close the transaction. They usually don't allow for what's called a financing contingency, meaning that they're not going to allow you to be the winning bidder and to move forward with closing the transaction if you have to have a loan to do that. But there is one way around this. You can get what's called hard or private money. Maybe you know someone who's willing to loan you the money, cash, a friend, a family member. But the company that I've gone through, that I've gotten hard money loans from, is called Lending Home. And I highly recommend that you check them out. So Lending Home functions like a bank, but the money is considered hard or private money. And Lending Home loans are accepted by auction.com. So Lending Home can provide you with the capital that you need in the event you don't have cash to acquire and also rehab a property that you find on auction.com. Another thing to note about online auction sites is that usually you're not going to have access to the property. You're not going to be able to enter the property and check out the interior. Obviously, you can go to the property and look through the windows and do some due diligence, but you're probably not going to be able to actually enter the property to look at its condition. So you want to take that into consideration when you consider how much you're willing to bid on these properties. Something else that you'll want to do, should you decide to acquire a property through an online auction, is to find a title company. There's title companies all over the place, and there's probably many of them in the city in which you're looking to buy real estate. Title companies are going to be a huge asset for you as a real estate investor because they arrange for the closing of the transaction. They make sure that the buyer and the seller get what they need in order to move the property from one party to another. They handle the exchange of money, they handle the transfer of the deed, they do all that work. And so it's important to identify a title company that can help you with your first transaction and future transactions. Another way that you can identify these foreclosures is by engaging a local real estate agent. It's highly recommended that you find a local real estate agent that can help you throughout your journey as a real estate investor. If for no other reason, because real estate agents aren't going to charge you anything for their services. Because in most real estate transactions, the seller pays the real estate agent, the buyer pays nothing to the real estate agent. So this is a free way for you to get help and benefit from the local experience of an agent. So I would highly recommend that you find a real estate agent that's willing to work with you ongoing. If you don't know of a local agent, you can ask friends or family members that may know someone, or you can check out a local real estate investing group, and you'll find no shortage of real estate agents in groups like that. So check those out as well. But here's how real estate agents are going to help you to identify foreclosures. Real estate agents have access to what's called MLS. MLS stands for Multiple Listing Service. And through MLS, they're able to identify properties that are for sale that are also in foreclosure. And usually you're not able to do this easily through third-party sites like Realtor.com, Zillow, or Trulia. So real estate agents are going to be able to identify which properties meet your criteria that also have a foreclosure status. Another way that real estate agents can help you to find properties at a discounted price goes beyond just foreclosures. Remember, we talked about motivated sellers. Well, not everyone that's motivated to sell is in foreclosure. There's many reasons, as I previously mentioned, that people are motivated to get rid of their property quickly. Within MLS, local real estate agents have the opportunity to search for listings that include certain words like motivated or need to sell quickly. This kind of language that indicates that the seller is looking for a way out of their property fast. Another way that real estate agents can identify properties that you might be able to acquire at a discounted rate is by looking for properties, again, that meet the criteria of what you're looking for, but have a high number of days on market, meaning that they've been sitting there without a buyer for a long time for whatever reason. So obviously the longer a property sits for sale, the more motivated most sellers are to want to act quickly, and that presents a potential opportunity for you as a buyer. Another way that real estate agents can help you identify great deals is by uncovering properties that are what we call back on the market. And properties that are back on the market means that they had a buyer lined up, but that buyer, for whatever reason, backed out of the deal. Maybe it's because they found something in their property inspection that made them want to back out of the deal. It could be that they weren't able to get the loan they were hoping for and they couldn't continue with the transaction. Whatever the case may be, properties that are back on the market means that the buyer that the seller previously had lined up is no longer moving forward with the transaction. So this usually puts sellers in a much more motivated situation because they're without a buyer. The third way to identify great real estate opportunities, and possibly the best way to go about it, is through real estate wholesalers. Real estate wholesalers identify motivated sellers who have not yet put their property up for sale. And they do this by doing mass mailings, phone calls, knocking on doors, all types of things to identify people who, again, need to sell and need to sell quickly. Once they identify these people, they offer them a cash deal at a discounted price, and then they turn around and sell those properties to investors just like you. So they're doing all the heavy lifting in identifying these motivated sellers, and then they're immediately ready to offload the property to a real estate investor like yourself. So you want to identify these real estate wholesalers. And so the question is, where do you find these people? And here's several ways that you can go about finding them. One, just do a quick internet search, right? Doing searches for like cash buyers in your area, or we buy houses plus your area. Real estate wholesalers usually have websites, and they can easily be found through doing a quick internet search. Another way that you can identify real estate wholesalers is by joining a local real estate investment group in your area. Again, you can identify these groups just by doing a quick search online. But going back to what I mentioned about title companies, the title company that you've decided to work with will likely have a list of real estate wholesalers that they do business with. And title companies love real estate wholesalers because they bring them so much business, and they will be more than happy to refer you to their list of wholesalers. Now, once you have this list of wholesalers, just give them a call, let them know that you're a serious real estate investor and that you want to get on their email distribution list. And what this is going to do is whenever they have an opportunity that they've identified, they will include you on the email that goes out that says, hey, here's the property, here's what we're selling it for, here's the pictures, here's some information about the property, and then you can respond if that's a property that meets your criteria. So real estate investors are going to be another great way for you to identify great real estate opportunities. And again, usually real estate wholesalers are working with real estate investors that have cash. But if you don't have cash, work with a company like Lending Home who can get you the financing that you need in a matter of days so that you can close on these kinds of deals and acquire your first rental property in 2022. So hopefully these 3 ways will help you to find and buy your first rental property in 2022. So keep in mind, you've got online real estate auction sites. You've got numerous ways to identify foreclosures. Definitely find a local real estate agent that can help you throughout your journey as a real estate investor. And don't forget to get acquainted with multiple real estate wholesalers. And through a combination of these ways, I'm confident that you will find your first rental property in 2022 and be on your way to building a real estate portfolio.